All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Merely Bo, the Great Z, OTAs, up and running, keeping it rocking. But I think we need to choose and start with Nathan Zagura chooses violence. Your spirit animal is very concerned about what you did on Friday, the altercation, everything that led up to it, that followed it. He was confused. He'd never seen this side of you.
Yeah.
And are you okay? You thrived and felt like you thrived?
I've never felt more alive, brother.
Yep, that's what it looked like.
It was. So we had kind of talked about, at the end of last week, the show coming up, AIW Gauntlet for the Gold 17.
Yep.
And AIW Absolute Intense Wrestling, a local promotion. On Twitter, they're at AI Wrestling. So AIW, but then the wrestling without the other W. So
yep.
And you can probably get some clips there unless you happen to catch the documentarian breaking it down.
She did a great job.
She did a tremendous job.
Did a great job.
So, yeah, they had their Gauntlet for the Gold, which is kind of like a Royal Rumble, 30 men over the top battle royal. And I got the great fortune of being a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And I drew number 8, which ended up being very convenient because number 7 was Calvin G. Lewis of Members Only, who had been kind of running his mouth, flapping his gums, or as one of my teachers used to say, shooting his bazoo without a license in my general direction. And so I was able to go in there, and basically what I did was kick his butt.
I think that's a fact, yeah.
All over the ring, a little shoulder block, no big deal. Get him in the corner, some 3 knife-edge chops, and then a little rock bottom in the middle of the ring. Throw him over the top, and he was gone. See ya. See you later. Bye.
That's right. That's
so one-on-one, no problem.
No problem.
No problem. Then his partner comes out. Malcolm Cambridge comes out, number 9. He pretends that he's disgusted. The nefariousms have begun. He pretends he's disgusted with his partner because I've thrown him over the top rope. Yeah. Like, you just let the guy I've never wrestled for. I'm a commentator.
You're just a guy. Yeah, you look great, by the way, commentating. I like your whole setup.
You like that?
It's very good, yeah. Yeah, I like it. I like the shades, all of it. It's all wins. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So then he came out and came in the ring, and he was like, he's like, forget him, dude. He's a jabroni. I'd rather be your partner now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not so sure. Shake puts his hand out. I'm not so what should I do? Everybody in the crowd's like, no. So I'm like, no. And then a guy runs in on us. Boom. We both back elbow him together. And I'm like, okay, all right. It's every man for himself. It'd probably be helpful to have somebody who's been in the biz in there helping me out. And so we say, okay, all right, we'll do it. Shake hands. As soon as I turn my back, of course, smacks me, throws me in the corner. It's beating me up. I get him back in the corner. Big overhand chop.
Big chop.
Big chop. The overhand slab, he still has my handprint on his chest today, which is wonderful. And then he goes to try to throw me out. I stopped myself. But then Calvin Lewis, who should be in the back, he was eliminated. Why is he out there? Lawlessness, grabs my foot.
Yeah.
So now I'm distracted looking over the rope down at him who's grabbed my foot, trying to get my foot out. The other guy comes over, 2-on-1, gets me over the top, but I landed on my feet, which I was very proud of.
Yeah, that was nice.
And then right there, confrontation. The other guy gets thrown out because he was celebrating throwing me out. And then the two of them double team me and whipped me into the steel guardrail. So I have bruises all down my ribs, leg.
Did you get checked out? Get to go to the?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, did you go to the doctor?
I was
check out your ribs. I mean,
yeah, I had to go in the back, and that's why I didn't get to continue. I had to wait to continue commentary for a little while. Make sure I was good.
No internal bleeding.
I got carried out by the ref. They even came in and they stepped on my throat. They were like choking me out under the guardrail. It was intense. Miss K was very concerned. I love her. Very concerned.
Bootsy was quite concerned watching it the next day.
And then
I watched it.
Got back, and I'll tell you what, I've never felt more alive. But I kind of feel like this was supposed to just be kind of a cool one-time thing. Let me, live a dream, as it were. But the way that it went down does not sit well with me. Like one-on-one, if you want to be legit about it, cool.
Right.
2-on-1, that's what you're gonna do. So I had a couple people approach me backstage offering their assistance, saying they wanted to be my tag team partners in the event this should go any further. So
and you're entertaining these offers.
I'm entertaining these offers as we speak right now. Members only.
I mean, these kids got to look out.
You can run, but you can't hide.
No, you track them down.
Your days are numbered.
You track them down.
That was just a taste.
That
was just a taste.
You weren't even prepared.
That was just a
You're
taste.
just a guy doing commentary, and all of a sudden you're in the ring.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden who knows?
Who knows? I got to tell you, it was an absolute thrill. So thank you very much to AIW for making that happen. And I promise to keep you guys posted on what's next, because if there were to be something at Absolution, which is their WrestleMania, which is Saturday, July 13th, Masonic Temple Live, tickets on sale now, no big deal. I want everybody there. I want a packed house. I want an environment that is conducive to domination. I want the dog pound. I want the home field advantage we enjoy at Cleveland Brown Stadium. That's what I want. That's what I need. Feed off that energy. So put that on all your calendars. July 13th. I have a feeling we might be doing something pretty special.
Well, this was remarkable to see.
It was fun.
Yeah, it really was. You had a great you had a great pose as you climbed the ropes for the first time and looked around, very rock,
very low rock, of course,
which I thought was great. I enjoyed that a great deal. So it was good.
Thank you.
It was very good. Good job out of you.
I think it's one of those things. Like, I would just tell people, if you have a passion and you want to try something that maybe you feel like, oh, maybe it's a little dangerous, maybe it's a little crazy. Yeah, one life to live. Do it.
Get out there and live, baby.
I felt very alive. Is the way I would describe it.
You looked alive.
I felt alive.
Yeah.
It was great when he pushed me.
Yeah.
He initiated the physical contact between the two of us. He pushed me first.
I saw. Yeah.
When he pushed me, it's interesting how your body just naturally
go.
Like, oh, okay. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, your first chop to him was
stout.
Yeah, formidable for sure.
In the biz, they might call that snug or stiff.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know what that means, but it was powerful. It looked to me like you could hear it.
You could hear it. Oh, yeah. You could hear it. You could feel it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and these guys, and then afterwards they cut some promo being like, the Browns better keep me away from them or they're going to rip my throat out. I'm never going to call another. Like, come on,
dude. Come on. What are you
2-on-1. I already got people willing to back me up now. So if we got even numbers, I feel pretty good about my chances.
Honestly, I think even solo you'd be fine.
1-on-2?
Yeah, I think you could handle
two people still.
Yeah, I know, but now you got some time. And the next time you see him, you're not seeing him this weekend.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, but now with a potential partner, it's a whole new ball game. So that was great.
I need Bootsy there.
Well, it's on the calendar.
Okay.
I don't know how he's going to. I mean, he was quite confused. He was really locked into it, like really huge smile, glued to it, but then also concerned. Couldn't understand what was happening. Couldn't understand why you were going into the ring. Why would he do that?
Tell Bootsy I'd like to talk to him on the phone tonight.
Okay, you guys can have a chat. Well, maybe you could play the Fortnite.
He'll play a Fortnite. New season.
Oh, boy, wasn't there a new season.
I haven't even played
5:47 a.m. Saturday morning.
Ready to roll.
I hear clicking.
Oh, yeah.
And I go out, and he's up there.
He's like, new season, Dad.
I go, what are you doing?
He's on the grind.
He's trying to make it happen. I'm like, buddy.
He's on the
grind. He goes,
grind.
well, you said I can only play on Saturdays. I guess it's technically Saturday.
We need to come on. He's in the summer now. We can't just be.
He's
Saturdays.
not. They're still in school.
For how long?
Thursday.
Okay.
Till Thursday.
Last week.
Yeah. Okay. They got NBC
Hold on. Let's just both be clear. They're in what we would consider to be a farcical stage of school at this point. They're having field days and jocularity.
They had field day last week. He's got goat yoga tomorrow. Like goats are coming and they're going to do yoga.
Hold on a second.
That's right.
They're doing yoga with goats?
Apparently it's a thing. They've got...
I've never heard of that.
I guess.
And I know a lot of yogis.
I guess the goats walk in you or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So they got that. He's got ice cream truck movie theater.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
On a Thursday, and then Friday they're going to Cedar Point.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Like I think anytime you can take like 212-year-olds to Cedar Point on a Friday, you got to do it.
I mean, you're not going to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. No, they're not doing anything. Yeah, they're not doing anything at all.
This is what Nana says. Bootsy may be afraid like you were with the piñata Big Bird a long way ago. But I don't even know. I guess when I was a kid, I was afraid when they were hitting. Oh, I know what you're talking about. When I was a kid, we went to a birthday party.
Yeah.
And they had a piñata of Big Bird. And
that's an interesting piñata choice.
I liked Big Bird.
Yeah.
And so people are like whacking Big Bird with a baseball bat. And I was like, no
don't do that.
Don't do that. Not to Big Bird.
Why would they?
It'd be like if you had kids who love like Mickey Mouse and Mickey Mouse is up there getting smacked.
Usually a piñata is not something that is valued.
Or loved. Yeah, not a love.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes it's usually just like a multicolored donkey.
Yeah, for sure.
That you have no attachment to.
I had I mean, it was a long weekend. We had went to the lacrosse game, the high school lacrosse game on Friday night with the boys, and I could see them. I could see the engines turning with the oldest, and was then this. So this was like 9:00, and I got propositioned for sleepover. So it was 4 12-year-olds, which is fine. They're all good kids. I've had them since they were little dudes, and so it's all good. They came over. It's great. But I was also not in my plan to have a sleepover.
No.
So
it's a wrench in your plan.
He hit me with the mom said it's okay if you do in front of the kids. So classic move out of him.
Number one.
Now so then once I get home, she's like, well, I didn't say that. And I'm like, well, of course, but it's too late now. Like, it's solved now. It's done. It doesn't really matter if you said it or not. It's in front of people. Like, come on. This is how this is going to go.
So 2 things. Number one, obviously, we've got to tell them, look, you got away with that this time. But
I did.
You asked me in front of them, not happening anymore.
That's it from here on out.
But on number 2, you got to respect the intuition to know that if I do this, you have to say yes.
That's right. I mean, and I did tell him when he got in the car all of that, and then I said, "Understand, I was 12 once too,
yeah, I did
and I respect the game, and I did this operation. I knew exactly what you were doing. It worked. Good for you. Here's your one.
Divide and conquer. Pit him against
enjoy it. Yeah, enjoy it. So
I was the only kid. I could go to my mom and be like, "Well, Dad said I could do this as long as it's okay with you," but then I'd turn around and go back to the other way. Yeah, and say, "Well, Mom said it was okay."
Yeah,
yeah.
So, my wife got like the full. Grew up with sisters. She didn't understand, I don't think, really what like comes out of 12-year-old boys' mouths, like just what they discuss and what they're interested in. So it was like a crash course in that for her. And we've had kids over a lot.
Sure.
But this everybody's loose this time of year, so
sure.
it was really loose. So like at 11:00, I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. And she's like, what? You're leaving me alone? I'm like, they'll be fine. Like, just it's fine. So she stayed up until like 1:45. We get up the next day because we had lacrosse all day, and then I got another thing I want to discuss with you for Beamsy. She gets up and she goes, I had no idea 12-year-old boys talk like that. I'm like, this is what I know. But I did. I do know what 12-year-olds boys talk about, and I do know how they operate. So this is how it is at this age. There's nothing wrong with them. This is what I did.
Yeah, it's very normal.
She's like, well, they were watching horror movies. And I go, honey, I for sure had seen Basic Instinct by the time I was 12.
I don't know if I'd call that a horror movie.
No, but varying degrees of not appropriate for that age.
Sure.
I would much rather choose the latter than the former, but God bless.
Yes.
Each to their own.
Agreed.
And so led to the...
That was an event when I got to see that movie. A bunch of my buddies
life-changing.
It was an event.
And it was one of those things, well, who would rent it? How would you get it?
Big Lou was the one who gave the green light for us all. My buddy Mark's dad. So what year did that come out, do you think?
I'd say like 93.
So that was probably a freshman.
92, 93.
Freshman in high school.
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I wasn't 12 when I saw it. Maybe I was in high school.
I think you were right.
Could have been a little older.
Yeah.
So then Beamsy had lacrosse on Saturday. And then Saturday afternoon, NBC has been, in addition to lacrosse, he's been doing golf, right? So, but he hadn't been to a match and very little practice because he's been doing lacrosse. So it worked out to where he could play in the match Saturday.
Okay. So
he's been golfing since he was 2 or 3. He's been swinging a club. Like, he's not great, but he can play a little bit. So a buddy of mine thankfully took him and his buddies to the match, but because he hadn't had a score, he was rated as our 7th player.
Okay.
So we had 8. He was rated 7th. Okay. So no names, please, but it was a par 3 in a place that I've never been to a golf course in Northeast Ohio. I never even knew it existed.
Okay.
So I drive in there, and there we go. So we drive in. It's fine. It's nice. It's fine. It's more than fine. A little par 3. I think for the juniors, there were 2 par 5s and 2 par 4s.
Okay.
So 4 par 3s or 5 par 3s, and then that was the longest. He only hit driver once. The longest hole was 220, I think.
Okay.
And so I was coming in hot, and as I get in there, there's probably like 20, 25 people standing around the first tee to watch them play. So he's never played like a match in front of an audience or anything like that.
Sure.
So as I'm walking, my buddy, thankfully, God bless him, like I didn't see this right away, but he was waiting in the fairway, like, so the kid had some support because it was like, this is a lot going on. So as I walk in, he hits his drive. He hit a good drive, and he looked at me, and I swear to God, dude, like when he was like 3 years old and I would go cover the Buckeyes for a week, and like wanted to sprint and come hug me. Like, it was just like, Dad, Thank God you're here.
Yes.
Thank God you're here. And I'm like, I got you. Well, as you know, varying degrees of talent and abilities.
For sure.
But if you're the 7th of 8th, you're going to be playing with other people that are
Not great.
theoretically in that group. So I don't know why these guys are in competitive golf. You know, there's something for everybody, I guess. But we're going through it, and these poor kids, we're counting every stroke. Like, it's moving along. And at one point, I go to the lady who was, like, overseeing it. I'm like, can these guys please play ready golf? Let's just play ready golf. Like, let's not mark everything.
Yeah.
Let's not. We're not pulling out
They're
flags.
putting for 13, man.
Like, let's just move it along. First one to the tee, let's just let them hit. Can we just go? And NBC came over to me one time. He's like, Dad, I'm pretty sure you and I could have played 18 in the time it's taken to do this. I said, I know that we could have played 18 in the time it's taken to do this. So he shot 41. The next best score in our group was 63, 64, 74 on 9. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes.
And
he's
par was
number
33.
7?
Well, because
He's
he didn't
not.
have a score.
He's
He's
not.
not.
He's not in talent.
The kid who was the
Okay.
number 1 or 2 shot 38. So he would have been his best. One of his best buddies shot 38. So
Okay.
he should have been. He probably should have been our second or third. That's probably what he should have been. But because he hadn't scored, it's not anybody's fault. Like, it just is what it is.
You have to have a few
You have to have a
rounds
score.
to get that. Yeah.
Yep.
Correct. So, like, because he didn't have a score, like, this was what it was. But it took 2 hours and 45 minutes.
It's unacceptable.
That's
Someone should have been put on a
All right,
Yeah, it's
this
brutal.
is Saturday. You guys imagine my enthusiasm for this.
very low.
So we
Because
were at
you
lacrosse
don't
at
have
9
anything else
o'clock in the
going on,
morning.
luckily.
Straight into this. Like, I was just, I was beside myself. I was just beside myself.
So I was trying to send you videos of joy.
Well, that was in the morning.
Yeah.
I did get those in the morning, but that was Saturday afternoon. So it was crazy. God bless him. So then that went fine. He pulled another sleepover on Sunday, and these kids are doing this thing where they'll ask girls out, but then their buddies will do it. And then if it's a no, it's a joke. And if it's not, I'm like, I used to write like on a piece of paper, do you like me? Check yes or no.
Yeah,
have a
hand
buddy
it off.
hand it to him, and that's
Yeah.
it. How do you navigate this phone world? Their social interactions are insane.
It's nuts.
It's nuts. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got to get Snapchat. I'm like, no, I don't think so.
No.
You probably don't need Snapchat. I don't think you need that at all.
what all the-
But it's all the kids are doing
They're
it. he
doing
said.
it.
They did Sunday. Congratulations to all of them. They did win the Northern Ohio Lacrosse Championship in the 6th grade, so that was very cool. So they got to hang a banner. That was fun. Remember that story of he's certified and I'm chased out of town from like a month ago?
Oh, yeah.
So we played those guys in the semifinal. Great dudes. Really great game. 1-goal game, and then we kind of cruised in the title game. But it was cool. So that was that way.
Did they know like
Well, I told
they
Gibbe
needed to make amends after
So I
their
told-
performance?
This is great.
I told Gibbe, like, we were up at Sandusky like 3 weeks ago, and a buddy of mine knew the guy who was the head coach at the school, and the really nice guy. And he said he was telling this story, and I hadn't met him yet formally. And the guy was like, yeah, I think someone was talking about it. And he was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, they were talking about it on Cleveland Browns Daily. Bo Bishop was talking about it. And I'm like, I'm him.
Yeah.
I am him. That was me. And he goes, wait, what? And so then I told him, like, the actual punchline was being chased out of town down the freeway. That was
Yeah.
the actual punchline.
People
So
following you.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the real story of it. But we had a good laugh about it. But that was good. And then we ran up to the condo for my niece's birthday yesterday. So that was your weekend. So I didn't
Hung
it was
out,
just
did some
for
sun
4
tanning
hours in
yesterday.
the wind.
With beautiful weather
the
yesterday.
wind blowing 180 miles an hour,
Perfect.
gray. It's awful weather. So that was it. So like when we got home last night, and I'm like, I don't even know what happened. Like, was that a day off? Any of them? It was just it
No.
was great. Like, you're with your kids, so it's all a win. But it was a lot. And then you had Brilo.
The Brilo.
Was that yesterday?
That was yesterday.
And
That was Sunday.
Sunday.
Folks, I hate to say it, but I think the sanctity or the integrity of the Brilo it hangs in the balance.
Oh God.
So
Sandbagging.
So
What accusations are we making here on Cleveland Browns Day on a Tuesday, in the middle of May?
the way that it has always been explained to me and was confirmed by Brilo himself is that this is a scramble where you have an A player, a B player, a C player, and a D player.
Okay, give me the handicaps.
A, 0 to 6.
Okay.
B, 7 to 12.
Okay.
C, 13 to 18 or 20.
Okay.
And then D is 20 or above.
Okay.
We have, obviously our team's been there. By the way, Jake the Barbarian, who doesn't play golf at all, was our D player. Bodybuilder, by the way.
Jake the Barbarian.
Yes.
It's in the name.
Bodybuilder. Just came in second in some show. Got robbed, to be frank, when I saw the photos of it. He actually hit some great shots. He was awesome. Was playing in a Franklin. He had a Franklin batting glove on because he's a big softball masher.
Of course he's a softball masher.
Yeah. And so he was our D this year. And then it was, Bones was our C, Corral our B, and then I was the A. And we left a little bit out there on the front, but we got hot. We were 8 under for the last 11 holes. So we finished at 10 under, which typically would be good enough to win it. Now, I'll take you back to the very first hole. We birdie number 1's par 5 there. You're
in Brecksville, right? Sleepy Hollow? Is that where you do it? Yeah.
We're on number 2T watching the group behind us hit their approach shots. And I've noticed that they're hitting their drive from either where I was or even further.
Bombs.
Yes. And that there were 2 drives that were that far. Which I thought,
in the short grass, even.
Yes, which would become a theme. There would be 2 of these on every hole where these guys are hitting at 330.
Very interesting.
So I watched them hit in, and I'm like, Bowens, I just watched their swing. I played enough golf. Like, I know people who can play golf. 3 of them seemed very good.
Like A.
Like, yes.
Or verge of A's.
And one of them would have been like one of the best low C's or high B's.
Okay.
Should come to you as no surprise. They win this tournament.
I would say.
So we're on the tee box on number 6, I want to say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is a par 3. Or on 7, actually, after the par 3. And one of the guys from that group comes up, and he had hit it on the green. A couple of them actually didn't hit some good shots on that particular hole. And says out loud, he's like, I got 3 5s with me, and I'm carrying this team. Out loud. Nobody, no solicitation of that information. I got 3 5s.
And by your definition, an A player is a 0 to a 6.
So that 3 A's. So like
3 A's.
Either the Brylo is A, B, C, D.
Or it's not.
Or it's not, and then you can I'll bring 3.
Bring 3 ringers.
And we'll go shoot 18 under.
Yeah.
So they end up they win it. There was, I guess, a little bit of at this point I was like, I'm not sick. Like on the last hole, they had 2 people. Again, 2 of them could drive it. They had a guy who made, and I watched him make putts, which were incredible. I mean, they still made a bunch, like probably 100 feet of putts on like 4 putts together that are the reason they won. But it was apples and oranges. It was so and it's, there's a little bit of skin in the game.
Sure,
so there's got to be a level playing field. You've got to have a level playing field. And this was most certainly was not. So I don't know. I didn't stick around, but I was told that they ended up.
I'm not crazy about that.
No, I was like,
come on. What are you doing?
It doesn't seem great. I said, and the way to solve it, I was like, look, everybody should have to have their gin score, or has to be like a known commodity within the group that like Jake the Barbarian doesn't have a handicap because he does not play golf.
Right.
But like it's known that he does not play golf because they all know him.
Yeah.
So like he's okay as a D, but everybody else, you should have to put your gin in.
Yeah.
And it's public. You can go to the gin app and you put your name in, you get your handicap.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to play. Now there are people who can obviously lie and cheat and sandbag their handicaps, but I mean, I knew it.
You could tell right
from the
away.
first hole.
2 bombs way out there.
It was just their swings.
You can tell. You can tell who can play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. C's and D's and are not compressing the ball and making it look easy.
I hate to see that. I hate to hear about that.
Yeah. And maybe, listen, it was this team's first year. Maybe they were not fully aware of
the rules, perhaps. Or they're just nefarious humans.
I don't want to say. I don't want to say that.
I mean, I just said it.
I just think that everybody's got to be, whatever the stakes are, whatever the.
We live in a society. There are rules.
Yes, like it just has to be the same for everybody. So if we're going to play 3 A's and a C, we'll play 3 A's and a C. But if we're going to play an A, B, a C, and a D, we got to do that because the truth is, to get to 10, we were playing some pretty darn good golf
Yeah.
at the end. And it was like we'd birdie out, and then they'd birdie the same.
How much did they beat you guys by?
I think 2. I think they were 12.
They were 12.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is I think is the record. I think we won one year the year it went to the playoff. I think it was like 8, and then the year that we won it, we won by a lot at 11 one year. So
There you go.
there you go.
All right. Well,
But it's still
there was a
I
lot
love
of
the Brylo.
You were aggrieved. You were aggrieved on Friday.
Yeah, 2-on-1,
2-on-1 mismatch.
nefarious.
Very.
You were
And then
eliminated.
again
What
on
are you
Sunday.
doing out there?
Why are you out
Calvin
there?
G. Lewis,
Get
go.
back in.
Go back behind the curtain. You've been eliminated. You're thrown off over the top rope.
A lot of grievances. Gibby, how'd you do?
I do have some grievances.
Yeah, not too shabby. Threw up a nice little score on Saturday morning at Bunker Hill.
Good for you.
Play a little golf. The rest of the weekend, the wife rented out some lawn equipment.
Okay.
And I did a lot of yard work. It was not ideal. The kid is back from Paris.
Oh, baby.
Maybe she's in a detox program. Maybe she should be if she's not.
We did get word.
Oh,
She's back. She's ready, and so she'll be back. The Bishop boys will be under her care.
I think she's
relatively
watching
soon.
Trotter's kids here in a couple hours.
Okay, so she's probably
Oh,
got that
man.
in the mix. I think we're. Yeah, I know that. I think there's a couple coming. So yeah, it's she's back in the mix.
She is on board.
Yeah.
She's going to teach your dog how to go on hikes, is what she told me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all. He's pretty easy to teach. I mean, he'll do it. He only walks with me like in the morning and at night. That's kind of it. He is really. The more that I think about it, and I named him after Buddy Garrity. I probably should have named him after Roscoe Pico Train, because when I watch his behavior in the yard, he chases a lot of things but doesn't catch anything. Ever.
Nice.
So he's
That's a great line.
Yeah, he's in high speed pursuit. There's a lot of squirrels and chipmunks that sprint up things, but he doesn't ever get home. He did have 2 incidents over the weekend, and I don't know if I'm guessing it's just the copious amounts of rain. Our yard has turned into Mutual of Omaha. So we had on Friday, I was picking up his droppings, and I nearly stepped on. Well, I'm going to show you the picture of the thing. It took years off my life, quite honestly.
Oh, God. Is it a snake?
That's right.
Oh, no.
No. I don't want any part of that.
I don't like snakes.
None.
Nobody likes snakes, Jock.
I decapitate them with my shovels. Quietly, effectively. Because if the wife finds out, the house will go on the market tomorrow.
Whoa.
That's what is going on at your house that these are just popping up?
Dude, what is that?
That's a snake. That's
I
what I
know
almost
that.
stepped on.
Nope.
What's he like?
He's like
5 feet?
4.5, 5 feet long. Yeah.
Nope.
Yep. I think it's one of those rat snakes again. I think it's like the mom of the little one I found. So I almost stepped on that thing, and that was no kidding a heart attack. I mean, so I'm thinking to myself, do I end this thing? And then everyone's like, well, don't end it because it eats rodents. And then I'm also thinking to myself, if I end it, like, then I got to pick it up, or am I going to let the vultures come in and pick it
No,
up?
you pick it up. You pick up piece 1, piece 2 of the shovel, and throw it into the woods. That's
Yeah,
what
but
I do.
then the vultures are going to come in and eat it. I don't know. So I just kind of shoot it into the woods.
The official animal warden of the show would like to see a picture of the snake.
Yeah. No, I don't know that you do.
I think it's
He can tell you what it is.
a rat snake is what I think, but I'll send it to you right now.
I don't know. That looks like
Is decent.
terrifying.
So all right, I just sent it to you, Gibby. So Buddy Garrity was around me when that happened, and luckily my wife was there and was able to lure him away with snacks and treats. And so she lured him away. And then
What did you do?
I shoot it away with a shovel. I just kind of chased it, and it would like rise up like it was going to strike or whatever, and then I would just kind of whack it with a shovel and get into the woods. And then this was yesterday morning. I'm down in the basement, and Buddy Garrity starts getting kind of antsy, and I'm like, "What, do you got to go to the bathroom?" So I go to put him out, and he goes beeline straight over to a turtle the size of a frying pan. I mean, this sucker was like this. Huge. Yes, Mr. Zagura.
On the second green at Sleepy Hollow on the Brylo, in the middle of the green was a snapping turtle.
Same. That's what was in my yard.
And it was
They're big.
big.
Yeah.
And I watch Wild Boys, so I know that you do not want
You want any part of it?
to be caught in the
No. And I told Buddy
beak of
Garrity,
the snapping turtle.
I'm like, dude, you don't want any part of
No
this
part of
sucker.
it.
No part of it. And he's like going at it like he's going to get it. So then I want to I got to grab him, but at the same time, I don't want to get got either
no,
by
you
this
do
thing.
not.
So they're not particularly
You do not.
fast. So as long as you can kind of stay behind them, there's not a whole lot that they can do. So I was able to grab Buddy Garrity, get him into the house, and then I used a snow shovel to pick the thing up. I would say it probably weighed around 40 pounds, is 35,
It's a
40
nice little
pounds.
workout.
Yeah. So I had him in a snow shovel, and then I put him on the edge of the woods, and then he got turned around and was snapping, and he would grab a hold of the shovel tight, grab a hold of it.
Like a vice grip.
And I'm like, dude, just get in there.
Just go
I'm
away.
trying to do you a favor,
Doing
buddy.
you a favor,
Dude.
man.
Jake the Barbarian, who I think would have no problem doing like Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards, where he just stands there and takes on an entire army. Like that's how
Yeah.
much belief I have in Jake the Barbarian.
I think that feels fair.
Wanted to touch it. He really wanted to touch a snapping turtle, but he had also cited he had watched Wild Boys and thought discretion was a
Smart.
better part of valor there.
Smart. How'd
So
you get?
he's
Did
Jake
you
the
play
intellect.
around
He's
it, or
Jake
what
the
did
intellectual as well.
Jake the intellectual. What do you do with it?
So
what'd you play
fortunately
around it?
we were a little bit to the right of the pin, and it was kind of directly behind the pin. So our putt kind of went up towards it and turned down the hill, but we didn't actually have to go.
Did he
that
ever make an
near.
aggressive move towards you, or he just kind
He
of
stood
chilled?
there and kind of looked like,
What are you going to do?
yeah, you want some of this?
Yeah.
Official animal warden says it looks like a rat snake.
Yeah.
The turtle was just laying eggs somewhere and going home. They'll take your finger off.
Yes.
That's why that's why I said, Buddy Garrity, dude, that ain't for you, man.
No.
No, I don't want that.
I did not know this, that groundhogs can climb trees.
Well,
Roxy sent one the other day right up a tree. I'm standing there and the thing's hanging over. And I'm like, if that branch breaks, you are dead.
Yeah.
Roxy, my one dog will kill that thing in a heartbeat.
Buddy hasn't caught anything yet. Chases all of it.
Yeah.
Lisa Woody
okay.
The first time it
Lisa Woody's
happens, it's
claimed many victims.
kind of awful.
But what are we talking about? Grasshopper?
My
What's the most formidable thing she's? Oh, okay.
squirrel,
She's taken out a squirrel?
and she caught a bird out of the air, and I watched her do it.
Jeez. I've seen cats do that. I've never seen a dog do that.
Leapt, boom, bird out of the air, gonzo, right in front of my kids who were horrified. So she was chasing this bird.
Nature versus nurture,
And they're like,
Raj.
call her back. I'm like, she's not going to catch a bird.
Right.
Wrong. She caught it. Must have been 2 seconds after I said that out loud.
You imagine if I
She's
took,
a Jack. She is Chihuahua, but she's part Jack Russell. So she's
yeah,
got
so she's
that,
got that
like-
little fight. She's got some fight.
Yeah,
A
she's
little
got
bit of
some-
hound in her.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if I took your kids one day on the Ponderosa?
No, they would not be.
How it all operates?
Not please.
How things go?
Can we go to a hotel?
Let's do the circle of life.
Yeah, no.
Here's the
not-
circle of life, kids.
No, they're not.
Here's how that
interested.
works. You know those steak you enjoy? Here's where it comes from. Ravens Chiefs, 100 days away. The countdown is on that side of things.
That's nice. 100
Yeah.
days.
100
Nice even
days.
100 days. From a team side of things, this is week 2 of OTAs. Practice today, Wednesday, and Thursday. No light contact permitted as part of these drills. The team can run 7-on-7, 9-on-9, and 11-on-11 is the way that goes here this week. Is the availability this week tomorrow or Thursday?
Thursday.
Move to Thursday.
Well, I believe
Just
we had
like
that.
we said, we did have that. I told
We
you we
had
had that last week.
Yeah. So there you go. That's where you are on that side of things. Browns fans, ever want to go to Las Vegas for a Browns game, maybe New Orleans, True Fan Travel, an official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns, hosting premium trip packages for the Browns fans. Visit truefantravel.com today and reserve your ultimate Browns travel package.
Vegas and New Orleans are very, very fun places.
You said it, brother. You said it. Coming
I
up
was
next.
instructed to.
I know. We'll go around the league. We're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Rolling Stones Hackney Diamonds Tour on Saturday, June 15th. That's coming up. Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. Visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Rolling Stones for more information. We go around the league. I thought this was interesting this morning. NFLPA working to finalize.
I don't find it interesting at all. I find it to be
finalizing eliminating the voluntary on-field work for the spring for a longer training plan where the players would report mid-June to early July. The NFLPA is working to finalize a proposal to overhaul the offseason starting as soon as next year, eliminating voluntary on-field work in the spring in favor of longer training camp ramp-up, with players reporting in mid-June to early July. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissaro reported formal proposal expected this summer. So the new leadership since July 2023, NFLPA has sought feedback from players on adjusting the offseason schedule, with the majority supporting the changes. Restructuring the NFL's offseason to help break up the calendar, giving the players a deeper layoff following a grinding season and a longer ramp-up period before the start of the season, which could provide helpful to avoid soft tissue injuries that plague some players during training camps under the current structure. I don't believe that at all.
No,
what's the get here? Why would the PA want this?
They want to be completely free from the end of the season until this point.
Until the middle of June.
Yeah.
That just won't happen. They'll figure out a way like here's orientation for all the new additions, and then there'll be a little mini camp for this, and then there'll be a mini camp for that.
With you. I think
and then we're still going to be back in June. Unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to tell you something else. I think even just from our position, selfishly, like that's a long season and a long ramp up.
No, it's
way too long.
Way too long. And to be
like camp, what are you going to do for like even if what they were doing now was mandatory and it started at the end of June, and you had to do like this for a full month?
Yes.
And then do
training camp is too long as it is.
It's too long as it is. People can't wait for it to be over with as it is. I don't understand that. I don't understand what I know why. Obviously, the PA wants what you're saying, which is they want to be unfettered end of season
for
until
4 months.
We do whatever we want for 4 months. But I don't think you're going to get it, and I think that would be borderline untenable to do 2 months of training camp.
Here's the thing.
Surely.
You're not. The average career is less than 3 years. Mm-hmm. So this is not, and it's voluntary. There are plenty of people that are not here, and that's fine.
Well, I do blame the media a little bit on that, like always reporting who's here and who isn't, and putting a scarlet letter on people who aren't here.
No,
like that's not right.
It's not right.
It's voluntary. This is optional. It isn't anything that anybody needs to be at.
Later on around the league, I put Bengals top wideouts, Chase and Higgins, not at OTAs. Doesn't matter.
Somebody said, so we do thing or not a thing. They go, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, not attending Bengals OTAs. Thing or not a thing? Not a thing. They'll be fine.
Not a thing.
They'll be fine. So then they said, well, when is it a thing? Week 1?
Yeah.
Then it's a thing. That's September.
Yeah.
That's September. I mean, come on. I just think it would be brutal. Selfishly, for our part, it would be borderline insane.
Insanity.
Like kind of criminal to do 2 months of it.
By the way,
I just think
we still have the combine. We still have the draft.
You're right. You still have all that free agency, all that
schedule.
Other stuff.
We still have stuff that we have to do.
Yeah,
we're not getting 4 months off.
How are you going to – it's already a long season. It's an insanely long season.
Yeah.
That's just making it longer. First of all, it's my understanding is the NFLPA can say that, but that has to be agreed upon, right?
Yeah. Wouldn't teams want it, though? I feel like teams would want it. If the PA wants it, wouldn't teams want it?
Why?
Well, if you're Stefanski and you get your hands on your guys July 1 and you have them for 2 straight months leading up to the season versus like this cram period off, you know what I mean? Like if I were coaching, I would rather do this.
Just have it be one straight shot.
Just one straight shot.
I feel like it's got to be so hard to – now you have them come in, they're here, and then they get to go leave for basically 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Recharge and then come back with already having some of the groundwork's already in there.
Listen, I'm with you. I think it sucks, but I understand why I understand why both sides I understand what the coaches would want it. I think the players are misjudging that they would.
Well, this
want
came out of COVID. Remember, our former center and the president of the NFLPA, JC, was the one that was like, we already proved during COVID we didn't need to be in person and we didn't need to be here for OTAs.
And I also think there's no amount of camp that's going to limit the injuries in the National Football League.
No.
I just don't buy it. I don't buy that an extra 4 weeks is going to make soft tissue go away. I just don't. I don't buy that. None of these guys show. This isn't like the Deke days where you're playing like celebrity softball games in the summer, crushing 12 packs. Like all these guys come in shape.
Training camp, I feel.
Well, it could have been that too. These guys come in. These guys are never out of shape. Now, ever. They come in ready to go, always. So no, that was crazy when I saw this.
Yeah, I'm not interested in it.
One scheduling quirk: 10 different teams will play 3 games in 10 days, according to this year's schedule. The past 5 seasons, no team had done this. So the Jets, Seahawks, Saints, Cowboys, Bengals, Bears, Ravens, Steelers, Chiefs, and Texans will all play 3 games in 10 days.
Great
for
everybody
them.
in our division, and not
good
us.
for us. But holy hell, that is 3 NFL games in 10 days is craziness. That's absolute lunacy. Marvin Harrison Jr. signed his rookie contract over the weekend with the Cardinals, so he also with the NFLPA now. So like you can buy.
Did
that
happen?
Yeah. So
did the Fanatics suit?
No, I think that's a separate incident.
Okay,
that's totally separate. The Ravens' goal is to get Derrick Henry 300 carries. I feel like if they do, that's a win for us.
Yes.
If they're gonna do that, that feels like a win. Feels like a win for us. And also the Chiefs are going to visit the White House. That is Friday, May 30th.
If you're going to the White House, as a player, what do you want to see? Like, if we got invited to the White House,
I want it. Used to be able to just go, but
correct.
Since 9/11, you can't do that anymore. But like, used to be able to just go. Same thing with the Capitol.
I like the bronze statues and the oil paintings, baby. Let me see all
You've been,
history.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested in all of it. I love the idea of the White House and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to go in the bunker.
Yeah.
Take me underground.
I want to be in the Oval
I want to be in the
Office.
Situation room. I want to see everything.
Why
I'm a world champ. Put me downstairs.
Why haven't more people? The idea of the Oval Office is pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just hard to build, I guess. But like, I feel like there should have been more of them.
I don't know why there aren't.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one.
There's one?
Oval Office?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, no, there's another one.
Is there?
It's for a conversation off the air in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, Gibby on a Tuesday.
And it is an exact replica.
Oh, my God. There you go. All right, we'll go around the sports world coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Ed Bo here from my team at Renew Home Exteriors. Time to update the exterior of your home. Tired of the same old vinyl siding? Reserve 10% off Renew's luxury composite clad siding during their spring siding sale. Composite not only outshines vinyl, it comes in 20 vibrant, maintenance-free colors to suit your lifestyle. Imagine a stunning exterior without the hassle. That's what you get. Renew your home with Renew Home Exteriors composite clad siding. Renew Home Exteriors, superior products and superior service. Visit RenewEstimate.com for more on that. The loss of Bill Walton yesterday out of nowhere. Now, I am
very sad.
Very much. I'm of an age. We're all of an age, but my first memories of him were as like the tail waving crazy person as the sixth man on the '86 Celtics.
Yeah,
which grew up a Lakers fan, and so I hated them tremendously. I had no reason to believe that he was anything other than like a bench guy until much later, because it's not like we had Google in those days.
Yeah, right.
Right? And so it's not like someone said, oh, yeah, he's one of the greatest college basketball players of all time and an MVP in the NBA.
And, well, yeah, right. He's on all the...
Led the Blazers to the championship in 77. Then he won the MVP in 78, and he only played 50 games because of injury. Yeah. Injuries really robbed him of his playing career, his feet, his knees, all of it. But if you are younger, you probably know him mostly as being the guy who called Pac-12 basketball games with Dave Pasch. And had like the time of their lives.
A lot of innuendo in there, a lot of good times. Yeah.
Yeah. He was also really good on the NBA, I want to say, with Steve Snapper Jones.
Yeah.
On a three-man booth with Snapper Jones, and I'm trying to know who the third was. Do you know, Gibby?
I don't, but right away when you said Snapper.
It was Steve Snapper Jones and Bill Walton, and then there was one more. Was that a TNT or was that an NBC?
NBC.
Yeah. So probably Marv. Was Marv the third? If it was NBC, could have been Marv.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Yeah. But just one of those guys who gulped life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people, just to give a little context how good he was in the 3-year when he was healthy, 16.1 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks. Then 19 points, 14.5 rebounds, 3 blocks, 4 assists, and then 19, 13, 5, and 3. I mean, he was a stud. He's on all the All-NBA teams, even though it was very short-lived. But I don't think what I'm about to say, I think what I'm about to say is actually spot on. He would be on, if there was a Mount Rushmore of college basketball players, he's on it.
Well, I think he's Abraham Lincoln. Like Lou Alcindor would be George Washington, he'd be Abraham Lincoln.
I think that's right.
I think it's him and Alcindor are the two best college basketball players of all time.
Yep.
I don't know. It's particularly close.
I don't think it is.
No, those are the two guys. Yeah, his college career, he's a 3-time consensus first-team All-American. He's a 3-time National College Player of the Year. He's a 2-time champion, 2 Final Fours. I mean, 3-time National College Player of the Year.
3-time. That's right.
3 times.
Average.
And in those years, you couldn't play as a freshman. So every year he played, he won Player of the Year.
For his college career, averaged 20 points, 16 boards, 6 assists, shooting 65% from the floor.
He was part of a team that won 88 in a row.
88 in a row. Yep.
Steve Snapper Jones, Tom Hammond.
There you go.
The play-by-play voice. Also worked with Marv Albert.
Yeah.
Was also paired with play-by-play guy Brad Nessler and co-host Tom Tolbert for the NBA Finals as well.
That's right. Yeah. No, he was great. He was really great.
First pick overall by the Blazers.
Yep.
And then
got banged up right away.
Yeah.
And then finally, won the championship in 77 and then was the MVP in 78 of the league, but just was hampered by injuries throughout. And the crazy thing, nobody knew about this. I didn't know about it. Nope, I don't think anybody knew he was even sick. How would I know? But no, I guess it wasn't public is the point.
Yes. I got the alert and was like, wait, what?
How much of the NBA did you guys watch over the weekend? You interested at all?
So I've actually found, even though it was a sweep and possibly another sweep, they've all been great games.
Competitive sweeps. Yep.
I'm really digging the Mavericks right now. Luka is a killer. Kyrie is a killer. They've got great role players. I kind of think the Mavericks. If they're going to get to the finals, I like the Mavericks. Luka
Kyrie finally started focusing on basketball.
He was pretty good when he was here.
He was, yes.
No. he was great when he was here.
Oh, you
And
mean
then,
like in the yes.
the past 4 or 5 years, he's not.
You
really
could have
cared
got
a whole
him
lot about anything.
About 2 years ago, you could have got him for a bucket of balls.
Correct.
Yes.
Like LeBron
Yeah.
won, and
He started caring again.
LeBron will say we should have signed him. They could have, but who knew what you were signing up for?
Yeah.
He's really good when he goes.
When he
he's
goes.
ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean the games have been competitive.
Luka's step
Pacers
back on
just-
Gobert was that's an unreal shot.
When you had, and then like the TNT guys, like Draymond I don't know what Gobert did to Draymond, but it's personal. But like they're being like critical of Gobert, and I'm like, what do you want him to do more than that?
That was a great contest.
The hand is up. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what more you want him to do.
He crossed him 4 different ways.
Right.
And the Pacers literally pooping down their leg.
Well, no Halliburton.
No, Halbert.
So they're
Which
their best
didn't
player,
help.
and
But
so you're like,
you're up 6, 8, 9 points with a minute and a half left. You at home
yeah, finish
gotta
one.
Finish it.
on Friday night. Was that Friday night? Yeah.
You mentioned
Friday
Draymond real quick. Get him off. He is. I think he detracts from that show.
He's derailing what they do.
Yes, he is.
I don't know
not-
why they think they need it.
He is not a positive addition.
I just don't know why they think they need more voices.
They don't.
They got plenty.
Yeah, Chuck and Shaq and Kenny.
And Kenny does the breakdowns. I mean,
Yes, you
it's
have everything you
want.
need.
You don't need to. I don't know.
I just think he's. Yeah, I'm not enjoying his.
Yeah, me either.
I will say this. That show has always been must watch. But if indeed they're done and they're going out and next year is their last year, I mean, it's already started to – Barkley has been unfettered,
Completely.
and it's been awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's been awesome. It really has.
And I think it's just going to keep going down that road from an even better level based on them not having the rights here.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, so there you go. But then what's crazy is they're off until next Thursday.
Yeah.
They'll have 8 days off. So they backed it up. They backed the finals up even more than what they have in. I don't understand that. Why you'd wait 8 days? What difference does it make? What are you planning for? Just start it. Start it the first Saturday you can after or whatever.
Yeah.
Seems crazy. Or first Thursday. Be done with it that way.
But that's
I don't know.
how
Yeah,
ESPN, like we always knew.
Waiting forever.
When I was at ESPN, we always knew the final started on this day no matter what. Everything could be done 12 days beforehand.
Yeah,
But you always knew, like they set the final schedule and then put together the rest of the playoffs.
the only reason I know this for sure is because it was the first year I was doing the show with Laurinaitis. We were at the Memorial Tournament, and we were discussing the J.R. Smith timeout, which was in Game 1. So that would have been this week
Yeah.
in
Thursday.
2017 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
17. So that would have been this week. So why are they waiting until why did they get to add another week?
There have been a couple times that they haven't started till the first week in June, the first Thursday in
Jeez.
June.
It's crazy.
I know.
Crazy to wait out there that long on that thing. All right, coming up next, our friends at CBS Sports, the top 10 players. We'll have a little fun with that list. I also have something I'll run by all of you guys coming up next. Jake Trotter going to join us for the final time as a Browns correspondent. That news at the end of last week as well. So we have that to look forward to, which is nice. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And Bo here for my friends at the James B. Beam Distilling Company. James B. Beam Distilling Company, over 200 years of pushing flavor forward, taking American whiskey in an entirely new direction. Claremont Steep is the ultimate expression of American single malt whiskey. 100% American malted barley, hidden notes of toffee, vanilla, caramel, American single malt whiskey. It's not bourbon or scotch. It's something else entirely. Explore the endless flavor in a single grain with the Claremont Steep, an American single malt whiskey that could only come from the James B. Beam Distilling Company. All right, here's this. This is what I want to ask you guys. We'll get to the list here in just a second. End of school this week for the kids.
Yep.
It's a loose term.
It's really been the end of school last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite end of school movie? Here are your 4 finalists, and if you want to add in votes, that's fine too.
Okay.
Risky Business, American Pie, Superbad, Dazed and Confused.
I just watched Superbad Saturday night as I waited for my kid to come home from Paris.
Still great?
Still great.
Still great.
Still great.
Now, Bueller. These have a different tone than Bueller to me.
What was the last one?
Dazed and Confused.
Oof.
All right.
Fast Times, but that's kind of over the whole year, isn't it? Fast Times?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not the end of
Brock
school.
says yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe what he said.
It does culminate.
Culminates, but it's kind of the whole year, right?
Right. You run, because
Right.
Damone's so mean to his boy.
Damone.
All right. Dazed and Confused, Fast Times, Bueller.
Well, is Bueller on this, or does that?
No.
Bueller's not on this. Bueller seems like a totally different tone.
No, that's in the middle of the school year. That's not
or is
the
that
end.
towards the end? No, maybe it's not at the end because
It's
it's in the
towards
spring.
the end.
Because
It's
the
in the
Cubs are
spring.
playing, so it's in the
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah.
But it's towards the end.
But it's towards the end. It's not like end of.
Because he already racked up like one
9
more
sick
absence.
days,
Right.
9 times.
9
Yeah.
times.
And then there's like 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink and all of those.
Those are in the middle of the.
Those are like prom spring, though, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. There's one more the name is eluding me.
I
Pours
love
most of
Dazed
that.
and Confused.
Love Dazed. Love Dazed and Confused.
Maybe lived part of Dazed and Confused.
We all did.
Can't hardly wait.
Can't Hardly Wait is very
Good
fun.
movie.
That is very fun.
I'm
Shout out
torn
Horsma.
between American Pie and Superbad.
They're both great.
They are.
I mean, Dazed and Confused for me is
That's mine too, but
Clear
it was
number
also
one.
it also came out.
I think I'm going American Pie.
Dazed and Confused came out in '93, so we're in high school
Yep.
at that time. So it hit every sweet spot for us.
Yes.
you know, even though it was set in 1976 or 77, but it kind of hit all of those.
I'd go Dazed and Confused, then American Pie, then Superbad, then Can't Hardly Wait.
Are we so? Probably the Risky Business is a different tone, but
Yeah.
like he does run a brothel out of his parents' house
Yeah.
while trying to get into Princeton.
So,
Like
Yeah.
that does happen.
yeah.
It gets a little grisly at the end, but there's a lot of fun leading up to it with a young Tom Cruise. I don't think that one gets as much play. I think the other three have a similar tone. Risky Business does get a little more serious.
Can't Hardly Wait is,
Can't Hardly Wait's very fun.
Very good.
Very fun.
I mean, the cast, it's
Jennifer Love Hewitt's
Jennifer Love Hewitt,
got a fastball.
Ethan Embry, Seth Green, Lauren Ambrose, Peter Facinelli, Korsmo, Jason Segel, Jamie Presley,
Yeah.
Donald Faison,
You're not going to, from a cast standpoint, you're not going to be
Selma Blair.
Dazed and Confused
No, Dazed and Confused.
from a cast standpoint.
Dazed and Confused is
Like Affleck's the big bad.
Dazed and Confused is absolutely it's an elite film. It holds up every time you watch it. It's great.
I do
I love
like
it
the
so much.
American Pie.
American Pie is so much fun.
Dude, Rip is in it.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. No, Dazed and Confused is loaded. The
Loaded.
discovery of McConaughey. I do love American Pie, but I don't know that it gets the run. I feel like it's not on as much.
Yeah.
I think they
In the
show
old
like
days.
American Pie 2 or American Pie 3.
Yeah,
like
I
they
think
show
that-
American Wedding more than they show American Pie.
I do think that hurt it too. I think they made a bunch of sequels that they attached their name
Yes. Yes.
to. I think the quintessential Last Day feels like Dazed and Confused, though, to me. Like that's exact. Like American Pie kind of culminates.
I
in
would
The
just
Last
go
Day.
American Pie, Dazed, Confused, and then Superbad. Those would be my.
Those
top
would be
three.
the three.
Have you seen Mitch
Superbad's
Kramer
amazing.
grown up?
Like when
mean
they're
Hitch Kramer?
they're pouring alcohol out of like gasoline containers.
Yeah.
No, they okay. He took wasn't it Drano?
That was Tide.
Tide. He empties
Empties
which
the
is
Tide.
a viscous material that is totally
could
coating
never
that,
rinse
and then,
it out.
No, never. And pours beer in it. It's like, oh, this is a good idea. No, not.
No.
Makes for an amazing night.
Gosh, Jason confused. What a heater this film was.
Yeah. They're all pretty fun. All of those are.
Are you letting the oldest one watch it?
So then that
I got another one for
What
you.
is the one that would be most appropriate? And it would probably be Dazed and Confused. That would be the one that he could.
For who?
NBC.
No.
None of them are appropriate, but that's
That
the
is
most.
not. No.
Superbad, maybe?
No way.
Definitely
Superbad.
not Dazed and
Why
Confused.
not Superbad?
What is in
You can't
Dazed
do
other than
American Pie.
the paraphernalia? There's nothing other than the paraphernalia, isn't there?
There's a lot of paraphernalia. And there's a lot of.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Can't do Dazed.
Yeah. Well, no, I can't do any of them. None
on.
of them are ready.
I got another one for you. 1987 gem Summer School starring Mark Harmon, Kirstie Alley.
I remember that.
That
I
felt
don't think
like.
that.
I
That's not on-
love that movie.
I don't think that's in this level, but I think it's. I remember it.
I think that my point was I think that one might be, for the most part, there are a couple things you might have to pass through, but for the most
I feel
part,
like anything in the '80s, there's gonna have to be a couple of scenes.
for the most part, though, that movie is great.
That's one of those ones that was on HBO all the time. when
Oh
we
my
were
God,
kids. Like, it was on
loved it.
all the time.
Loved it.
Yeah, those are good ones. Very good. Yeah, none of them are probably none of
What
them.
is age appropriate for him?
Bueller? We watched Bueller. He loved
Bueller.
Bueller.
Fine.
Correct.
Love
but
Bueller.
When would you seriously
Here's
consider?
the conversation that I had with my wife. We have reached the threshold with him. There are things that are appropriate for us to watch with him, while acknowledging that there are a bunch of things that are inappropriate that he's going to watch on his own. And you just got to be.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's going to be. He's
Fair.
at that age that he's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to find stuff on his own. And they watched some horror movie Sunday night that I'd never heard of, and he wanted to fill me in on all the gory details of it on the way home. And I remember doing that with my mom. When I would go see a movie, Mom, you're not going to believe this. Da, 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 da. And I remember, so I just took it. Was yeah, I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it was scary, and that's fine. But that was kind of the way that works. So we had that talk. Things that we can watch with him, and then things that we can acknowledge he's going to watch. And while I'm not actively trying to not.
I think
not encouraging it, but also they're going to find their own stuff.
Dazed and Confused, I think you're probably all right.
That's the
Bobby
closest.
Cart, Harmon Spectacular in summer school.
Yes.
Cart's on it.
I ran into Bobby Cart Jr. at a Giant Eagle yesterday.
Fantastic.
It was great.
He used to be in my neck of the woods. He's not anymore, huh?
Where's he at?
He said he's from Hudson. I don't know if he came down. Maybe the Heinen's is closed. I bet Giant Eagle is the only supermarket that was open in the area.
So he had to come down. Okay. I was going to say, he used to be in my neck of the woods. I used to see him from time to time. Yeah. They're all great.
Yeah.
They're all great. Great soundtracks, too.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Can't hardly wait. I still have that.
I think the only hole in the American Pie one is the Ostreicher, what's her name, romance.
Ugh.
That gets a little bit cumbersome.
Yeah, but
At least-
intentionally so, I do think.
You think intentionally they hired two people who can't act?
No, I think that they wanted her to be she was the annoying
They
girlfriend.
can't. It was really bad.
She was in a lot of stuff though.
But it didn't go well. She was in American
Beauty
with Spacey when he won the Academy Award.
Yeah.
But it's not like she had a lot to do in it.
No. What was her name?
And the poor Chris kid, the Chris Klein kid.
Chris Klein's.
No chance.
But you had Biggs had a nice
Stifler-
career. Stifler's had a nice career.
Stifler's great.
Allison Hannigan's had a great career.
She's probably had the best
Tara Reid had a great
run.
Boy,
Great
she had
run.
a fantastic
Natasha
run.
Lyonne has had
Ohio girl, right? Tara Reid?
I don't know
Pretty
about
sure. Brother lives in Columbus.
that. Natasha Lyonne has had a
Pretty sure.
great career.
Yeah.
John Cho is
Yep.
Harold and Kumar, great career. Eugene
Oh.
Levy, obviously. Jennifer Coolidge, obviously. Mina Suvari was her name.
Yeah.
Shannon Elizabeth.
I mean, it's great.
Is Van Wilder? Should Van Wilder be in
That's
that?
college, though.
That's college.
That's
Yeah, he's a
college.
collegian. Thomas
is
Ian
great.
Nichols.
Van
So to
Wilder's
me, Thomas Ian
fantastic.
Nichols. I think
he's
the
brutal.
Yes, he's the weak spot of that movie.
So they have two who can't act. Ostreicher
Yeah, but
and him.
Ostreicher was playing a big himbo,
Yeah.
athlete jock. I was fine. That he actually could do. When they tried to
It
make
was
him
never
really act, he
believable that Tara Reid would go for that kid.
couldn't. Was it Mina Suvari going for him?
No, Ian Nichols kid.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking about, I was on Ostriker.
That was the kid that
was
played
with
like
Venus
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that he
that
was going
guy.
to pull Tara Reid.
Yeah.
He is in like kind of, we'll take it like a quartet movie
I
situation.
already know who I got one on this
He's the
list
same
as,
as Doug in Hangover. He's like, it's like
just
just
same. Hangover 2 was on last night, and I flipped over.
I watched Hangover 1.
So I flipped over.
What a great movie.
Maybe they were on right next back to back.
I was going to
2
say.
is Thailand, right?
Yeah. And like he's in the beginning of that one.
Yeah, and then he's not in anymore because they know he stinks.
Terrible.
He's terrible.
Terrible.
Jaeger.
Just
On
terrible.
the roof.
Yeah, just brutal.
Yeah, terrible.
This is from our friends at CBS Sports.
Why don't we do this in the next segment?
Oh, yeah, you're
and
right.
Then we'll have Trotter at 2:30.
Good job out of you, Gibby. We'll do
welcome.
it coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Another vote for Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
All right, Albert Breer. Let's just say this new proposal to scrap off-season programs starting training camp with a ramp-up period in June and eliminating the annual summer break in the NFL calendar is going over like the Hindenburg with coaches
Yes,
and front
lead
office
balloon.
people.
Yes. Good. Perfect.
I wonder why they wouldn't want it.
Wonderful. Because people like to have it. It's too long as it is.
Like having a little.
You need to
some
have that
downtime.
like reset. Let's recharge our batteries and let's go. Good.
Well, and now, like in our organization, Mandatory minicamp is the 11th, 12th, and 13th. On Friday, June 14th, they start, in addition to the players, the coaches and everybody else gets 6 weeks off.
You're telling me our mandatory minicamp is the 11th, 12th, and 13th?
Yes, and they're off until
2 weeks
we go to
from
the
today.
Green Bar.
We start
Are
mandatory
we starting
minicamp.
way later than we
And
used
we're
to?
done.
Yeah, it's
Didn't we
usually-
used to it used to
and-
be about now when mandatory minicamp?
No, it was always the first week of June,
right?
Like 5th, 6th, 7th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. But this
Yeah.
year, June, the weeks don't add up because like you're going to get into June this week. It's like a late June starts late in a week.
Oh, so they just pushed it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, 2 weeks from
2
today.
weeks from today. That's a long ways. It
Yeah.
feels like next week should be mandatory.
No,
minicamp.
Albert Breer's totally right on the money. Couldn't be more right on.
It'd be pretty unrelenting
No.
to go
No
straight
interest.
into it. This is from our friend at CBS Sports. He gets the top 10
I wanna
players
see
with
if
the
I can
most
guess
sacks in a
them.
single season in the past 5
I've given you the
years.
teams.
I know. That's what I get. All right. So TJ Watt.
Yes.
He's on there twice.
Okay. So that's how you get to 10, and then every other team's just one person once?
Correct.
Okay. Tampa Bay is
Close,
going to
though.
be Shaq Barrett.
Yes, number 2. TJ Watt was number 1.
Arizona, Chandler
Chandler Jones.
Jones.
Correct. Number 3.
Nick Bosa.
Number 5. TJ was number 4.
Is it
He's
Khalil
1
Mack,
and 4.
Chicago. Khalil Mack.
It's got
Chicago.
it's
Khalil
got to
Mack?
be. It's got to be.
Not.
Really?
Robert Quinn, 18 and a half
that's
sacks.
right.
Holy cow.
That's right. Robert
He got
Quinn.
18 and a half sacks in
Yeah.
the last 5 years.
Correct.
Like he played on the Rams with Laurinaitis like in the
Yeah.
10 years ago.
So maybe it was 5 years ago.
Jags, Josh Allen.
Correct. 17 and a half.
Cincy is going to be Hendrickson.
Yep.
Yes, also 17 and a half.
Chargers, this could be Khalil Mack. It's either Khalil Mack or Bosa.
Now, which one you going with?
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, 17.
Okay. And then the Vikes, Daniil Hunter.
16 and a half. So I probably well, if I don't give you the teams,
I would have got half if we didn't give them the teams. But not all of them without the teams.
no Miles.
No.
No.
He was on pace last year. You felt like he was on
Very
pace for
on pace.
22.
Yeah.
Yeah, TJ 22 and a half in a season and 19 in a season. He was 1 and tied for 3rd.
One of the things that always annoyed me about like the sack conversation is when they say a sack is the most overrated play in football, and I just think that's nonsense.
It's not.
It isn't that. It's critical. It's not that. It's that hurries don't get enough.
Correct.
Don't minimize sacks and at the expense of making hurries more important. Just make hurries important.
Yep.
That's all you
Yeah.
got to do.
Yep.
Leave the sacks where they are. Sacks are critical. That ends a play.
It's a huge negative play.
A huge negative play.
Yep.
Play ended. Don't diminish that. That really matters. But hurries matter too.
Yep.
And so I never like the idea of like they like to make it to prop up hurries diminish sacks.
Agreed. I think I would say within the circles, disruptions are very well regarded, like in the league itself.
Sure. Yeah. I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. There you go, kids.
There it is. There
What
it
are we
is.
looking at?
Maybe this year. I think Miles could get there this year. I think there's going to be obviously a lot of good opportunities for him to go ahead and try to hopefully we're going to
Set
be
the
ahead
tone
a lot.
early.
Set the tone early. Let's go.
All right.
He's it's so funny. We were at the lake yesterday, and family friend comes up and he goes, "The Browns going to be any good this year?" Which is like,
No, you did end up going.
yeah,
You did the day trip.
yeah, you missed that up and back.
Oh, man.
Yeah, windy.
Beautiful
That's
day.
what I heard. Like
Brutal.
too windy, couldn't go out on the lake.
Oh, couldn't go out on the lake. Couldn't cast a line. Couldn't do anything. No, it's brutal.
Man.
Brutal. All we did, I went to my 2 grocery stores. I went up there that were open, and sometimes there's bourbon up there that I can't get around here. That's a little surprising. So I went and did that. Took NBC with me.
Any surprises?
Nothing that I had to get. Nothing overwhelming. Probably if I had gone early on the weekend, I bet there could have been some things. But by the time I got there, it was pretty picked over.
Yeah.
Still a bunch of stuff that we don't have here, but not to the extent that anything where I had to get. The NBC's ask for that was that I take him to Walmart to go see their fragrances.
Excuse me?
He's on fragrances right now.
What?
Fragrance collections.
Come on.
Colognes.
Come on.
No, I'm not kidding you. They love this guy, Jeremy Fragrance. And I said, dude, Jersey
Give him some
Jerry's my
Jacquard.
guy for starters. Jersey Jerry's my guy. Like, you want to do breakdown fragrance.
Yeah.
Let's do that. But no. So, like, he was in there, like, looking at fragrances. Like, this is outrageous.
No. Polo.
But that's where they all are.
Jacquard.
All these kids are.
Enough of this.
There's a
other
kid who's-
new
there's-
fancy
What's
like-
the number one thing right now?
Anything they get their hands on. But they're like, all they'll ask for is like a specific cologne for Christmas. That's all they'll ask for. Or for their birthday.
What?
So there's a kid who's got like 50
We're going
colognes.
from asking for Jordans to
They're done with shoes. Shoes are
Colognes?
done. They're over. It's over. Don't care. Irrelevant. Doesn't matter.
Rock, is this true?
but colognes?
They're
Okay,
into
not for
fragrances.
him.
He's older
Good.
though.
He is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, they're all into the fragrances. What fragrances do you have? Show me the fragrances.
All right, top selling colognes 2024. Dior Sauvage,
All right.
Creed Aventus, Tom Ford Wood Bleu de Chanel, Aqua de Gio Profondo, Yves Saint Laurent La Nuit de l'Homme,
the
Paco
day he asked
Rabanne.
for that, there's
Paco
conversations.
Rabanne still
He's already
kicking.
asked for several of those.
Dior
Really?
Sauvage is the bet is right now is the one.
That's your number one seller?
Yep. Ralph Lauren Polo Blue is the best daily scent, best staple. CK1, Dolce Gabbana Light Blue, Bleu de Chanel, Azzaro, the most wanted intense, is the best newcomer to the cologne.
So he goes through these lists. This kid's got this list. These are the best ones. We got to get these. So of course I didn't buy
Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette is the number one cologne
That's the number one selling
in the world and has been since
in the
2015.
world. In the world.
Yes, it's had the cologne world on a chokehold since it burst into the market in 2015.
I've had a bottle of Aventus for like 10 years.
50%. It works 50% of the time. Or
Creed Aventus
whatever
is
that line
the
is.
king of fragrance.
I've had it for a decade, at least.
Here we go. Here's one.
Cigar, we got to go to break.
Okay, fine.
Jake Trotter's up next.
Perfect.
Cleveland runs daily 850 ESPN Cleveland. Hey, Browns fans, check out Vivid Seats official fan experience packages this coming season. Purchase Vivid Seats Terrace Experience seats and score club access, parking, and pregame field pass, all included. Visit vividseats.com to learn more. We head on the Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea Hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it Twisted Cleveland. ESPN's Jake Trotter joining us. Buddy, you've known it. Z and I have told you this, and Gibby as well. You've been our favorite on the beat.
Man.
Absolutely enjoy
Legend.
all of your stuff.
It's
and now you're
bittersweet.
leaving us. Well,
Sad.
you've left us, quite honestly.
Yeah,
you've left us officially.
I'm out of here.
For our, sort of, right. For our audience, what led to the decision to get back to kind of your roots in college football?
Yeah, you're right, Bo. I mean, it is my roots. I grew up, big college football fan, growing up in a state without pro football, and in my career, got a start in college football some 17, 18 years ago. And so I was never planning to cover the NFL. This opportunity with ESPN came up 5 years ago. I think it was shortly after the Odell Beckham trade. The Browns are coming off that turnaround season in 2018. It seemed at that point that this was going to be a perennial playoff team with Baker Mayfield as their quarterback, who I'd covered in college, going back to when he was at Texas Tech. So it kind of dovetailed into this opportunity that I couldn't turn down. And it was quite an adventure. Like the first year I was here, a lot of people got fired, from the Dorsey, Freddie Kitchens era, Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, their staffs come in. And then COVID happens.
Right.
We have the COVID year, which actually turned out to be a magical year on the field for the Browns. But it's 5 seasons covering the team, was excited about a potential new opportunity. And it's kind of been in the works with ESPN for a while. And I think they were looking to give me a new chance as well. And so, kind of going back to, I think it was like in December we started really talking about it, around the time the Browns were making their playoff push. And finally got announced the other day that I'm going to be a college football writer for the company again. So excited to stay with ESPN. Gonna stay in Cleveland, so I'll be watching you guys, making sure you're making the right opinions. And I'll text you if
keep us honest.
Disagree. Excited to do something new. You guys know this in the journalism world. Like 5 years is a long time to be on one thing. So this was the longest I'd ever covered a beat for one company, 5 years with the Browns with ESPN. So excited for this new chance, and definitely learned a lot on the beat. And it was crazy at times. There were some really cool moments, and there were some weird moments, and ups and downs on the field and off the field. But I definitely was not bored these last 5 years. I'll put it that way.
No, you most certainly were not. When you kind of think of maybe what you thought you were coming into, the way that it all played out, and then where this franchise is now as you're, transitioning back to the college game, what do you kind of make of just this ride that it has been, and now to have the Browns coming off of an 11-win season with a great roster and obviously a lot of hope again?
Yeah, no, I memein they've had a good roster since I've been here. Like some years it's worked, some years it hasn't. 2019 always kind of have a special place in my heart because I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You guys remember how
yeah.
insane that season turned out to be. I mean, the Myles Garrett suspension, the ups and downs on and off the field with that team. There was so much hype. I still maintain that other than the Jets clinching, the playoff clinching victory over the Jets on Thursday night this past season, that the opener against Tennessee that year was the craziest Browns crowd I had seen. So there was a lot of hype for that year.
Yep.
Obviously went south, but then you come back and 2020 is an unbelievable run at the end, and people forget, but man, they're a Rashard Higgins touchdown away there from maybe beating Kansas City and getting to the AFC Championship game. 2021 goes south with, starting with Baker's injury. And I wonder if, he stays healthy, if that team maybe looks differently at the end of the year than it did. And then, we're in the Deshaun Watson era, and, his tenure's been marred by, injuries and suspensions. So it's just been up and down. But I do think, like, at the end of the day, you look at this team, like, and I was, I had some assignments before I made the switch, and it was like, what is the biggest hole on the roster? Like, what should they target on the draft? And there's no holes on the roster. It's like really hard to find
second tight
deficiencies.
End,
it was like a very hard
yeah.
assignment for me. I was like, man, what do I even put here? Like, punt returner, backup guard. It was not easy to do. So they have a loaded roster with some upside, and players like, Nick Chubb and Jerry Jeudy. We'll see what they can do. But there's no reason to think that this team can't be in the mix. And the schedule overall is tough, but I think the way in which it was constructed by the schedule makers, I think is certainly manageable, especially compared to some of the other AFC North teams. So it's going to be an interesting year, and I'm looking forward to just watching the Browns, from a distance, and being like a fan or a spectator, and not having to worry about every single storyline.
What was your knowledge of Cleveland and the Browns and kind of the atmosphere around them, your perceptions before you took the job, and then what are the realities now that you're done in it over the last 5 years?
Well, I remember when I showed up to minicamp in 2019, and the only person I knew in the building was Baker Mayfield. And that same day was the day that Baker, I was like, I didn't really know much about the Browns, even at that point. I've been trying to read as much as I could, but you have to go through the season of covering them. This is what I'm going to be going through covering college football this upcoming year, which is going to be an adjustment. But I remember Baker called out Duke Johnson for demanding a trade, which turned out to be ironic since Baker would do the same thing 3 years later. But I was like, what is going on with Duke Johnson? And why is he asking for a trade? And why is Baker? I mean, I was there 5 minutes, and already I had a front page news story, and it never stopped from there. So I obviously you remember, any NFL fan remembers Bernie Kosar, and Baker had told me how crazy and passionate and intense Browns fans were. So I was ready for that. But I think even then that's exceeded my expectations. And, I think that when I came in, this team was, you thought, turning the corner, and it has not been linear, but I think every year, the roster has gradually gotten a little bit better. And, I think this is probably going to be the best roster they've had in 2024, at least since I've covered the team.
Yeah, and that's what's exciting, obviously, from that standpoint. One of the things that people don't realize about your job, but so much of it is relationship building and being able to, access the players or coaches, people and stuff. Who are some of the people that you really enjoyed getting to talk to? And it doesn't have to be stars, or you don't have to name anybody, maybe if you don't want to. But who are some of the people that you really liked, that stood out to you?
We're talking players in the locker room.
Yeah.
I thought last year's locker room, I thought the first year in the locker room was probably the weirdest locker room, and I thought this past year was the best locker room. I mean, there were so many interesting, solid guys to go talk to. You start with some of the veterans like Joel Bitonio. Myles Garrett, I think, has really taken a step forward on and off the field. I really enjoyed writing about him and his transformation last year. Won his first Defensive Player of the Year award, obviously. Guys like Amari Cooper. I mean, Joe Flacco was fantastic. You guys knew that during that run last year. Anthony Walker, I know he's not here anymore, but he was terrific. There's a lot of guys. Obo, Dalvin Tomlinson was a great addition. I'm probably forgetting, a few guys. I mean, even the quarterbacks last year, like DTR and PJ Walker. I mean, it was, guys that I think maybe we're not used to that kind of spotlight, I thought handled themselves really well in the locker room. So it was a really fun group, guys that you rooted for. And I think that the Browns have done a good job in a lot of respects of targeting the right kind of guys and really working on improving the leadership in there. You could feel it when you're in there. I'm sure you guys could feel it too.
Yeah. It's this, it's funny. We talk about it all the time, and you witnessed it too with my version of this show with Z is a couple of years, predates you by two seasons, I guess, is what it would be. Well, no, just one.
Just one.
2018. Yeah, 2018. So it was my first season doing this. And the one thing that we talk about is and you witnessed this firsthand, but all these young kids kind of grew up together. I mean, there's so many homegrown guys now who have been, think about Denzel and Miles and Batonio and Chief, all these guys who were drafted here, who have become dudes here. And that's how you do it. You and I don't have a point of reference on that because you and I weren't here previous to that. But for the longest time, nobody got a second contract around here.
No, when Christian Kirksey got a second contract, it was a big deal. I think Joe Hayden got his, and then Kirko and Batonio, and from 2004, it just wasn't happening. I mean, my first season,
and I
had none of that.
From somebody like Miles, who, this was in my story, but you talk to guys like Joe Thomas, who played 1 year with Miles before retiring, and then Batonio, who's the other longest tenured, player in the Browns locker room. And those guys both point out, when Miles got here in 2017, A, he was instantly the best player on the team, and B, there was no Joe Thomas on the defensive side. And I think it's taken Miles a little bit of time to figure out that it's not just enough for me to be, a dominant player on the field. I've got to elevate the play of other people, which you saw him do that last year. And I think it's been a combination of guys that have been really good players who have grown into leadership roles. You mentioned Denzel. I think David Njoku is definitely a guy I would put into that category. And then also you've done a good job bringing in, the Rodney McLeods of the world, the Amaris, guys that are professionals that you just don't have to worry about. Those guys will police the locker room. You don't have to worry about it. So I think it's been a combination of both those things. And, they a lot of guys that they have drafted have really, over the last 5-6 years, even before the Barry era, have really panned out and stepped into the void that was definitely there when I first arrived back in 2019.
Yeah, and I think, we've heard the veterans, a lot of them, why do you want to come back? I love this locker room. And we feel like we have some unfinished business here with this football team. You mentioned kind of the roster. There are no holes. I get asked a lot out. I'm sure you do, Bo, as well, and I bet Jake, I'm sure you do when you're out and about. Also, what could this team be? And the way that I answer the question, and I'm curious if you agree, but I think Bo and I know we do because we've talked about this, is if Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, if those guys were the quarterback on this team with everything else being the same, I think everybody would be talking about us being the favorites to win the NFC North and challenge Kansas City finally to come out of the AFC. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Is this defense going to be number one
it's
again?
too hard.
I don't know if that's going to be the case, but it's not going to be number 15. This is still a top 5, top 7 defense. I think, we'll see what happens with the quarterback injuries, which always can change the equation. But,
of course.
The Browns defense caught some breaks last year. I mean, they got to face, Clayton Tune and Gardner Minshew and, guys like that, injured Joe Burrow and then Jake Browning. You go on down the list. But the level of quarterback that they're getting ready to play is much different on paper than it was last year. But I still think this defense is good enough to be, again, in the top 5, top 7 statistically. And then offensively, you've got some playmakers. You got 2 Pro Bowlers coming back in Amari and Njoku. You've got a former number 1 or first round pick in Judy. You've got, I like their running backs. I don't know how the carries are going to get broken down, especially once Chubb comes back, but not super worried about that position. And then, the offensive line is still going to be really good, especially as they get guys back at tackle. So what is it going to come down to? Well, we all know it's going to come down to quarterback play and whether the quarterback is on the field, number one, and then whether the quarterback plays, I don't even think you need top 5. Like you're talking about Joe Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen. I mean, those are top 5 guys. Can you get top 12? If you get if Deshaun Watson is top 12 in QBR this year and plays in at least, I don't know, 14 games.
Yeah.
Like this is like a 12-13 win team potentially.
Yeah.
Now, if he plays 9 games and he's 27th in QBR, then I don't even know if this is a playoff team despite what we have elsewhere. So like again, the Browns have a pretty wide variance in what they could be, but we saw this team last year win 11 games and they had to start 5 different quarterbacks. So if you can just get like solid to above average quarterback play, it's a very dangerous team. And if you get anything above that, then all of a sudden they are a contender in the AFC. We don't know. We don't know what that's going to look like. And I think ultimately that's going to determine what this team turns out to be.
It has been a pleasure through the years reading you. It has been a pleasure having you on, my friend.
Yes. The best.
You and I will not be far from each other. In fact, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, buddy. But
Yes.
you've been a breath of fresh air on the beat, and just honestly couldn't speak more highly of the work that you've done on it. Really, really enjoyed all the interactions that we've had here on the show through the years.
Yeah, same. And Jake,
Appreciate you guys.
We still
Yeah,
need
go
you.
ahead.
I still want. I'm going to task you. You still got to make a 53 so we can go over that.
We can still,
I'm gonna
but
make a
we can
53.
still
Yeah.
have him on.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know, but just from
No,
in a Browns
yeah.
capacity, it'll be
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a Browns.
That was always
We-
one of my
we have
favorite
spent,
convos
like,
of the year.
hours
me and
of
Jake
man.
on 53s.
We've had hundreds of man hours over the years arguing about the 53, and I think your hit rate was like slightly better than mine, but mine was pretty good.
was
I was
very good.
usually, like,
Yeah.
in the
We were
49.
usually only talking about at the end 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, is Diabate going to make this team?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what we were down to.
We had a great Dearness
oh.
Johnson discussion many years ago.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. We were very very high on slow grind. It's been awesome getting to know you guys over the years, and enjoyed coming on the air with you, and enjoyed talking to you guys off the air even more. So I
Yes.
appreciate you all and making me feel welcome, and we'll continue to listen, and I'll be around to talk Browns and more anytime.
All right, buddy. Great talking to you, pal. The great
Yes.
Jake Trotter, ESPN. Thanks, pal.
See you guys.
All right, so much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, so we I did put this on a poll, the best end of high school movie.
Yeah. You get some write-ins for Euro trip?
I didn't. I think I did not. No.
1 minute.
Days
comedy?
won.
Yes.
Days won with 40%. Superbad was second. American Pie was third. Risky Business was a distant fourth.
I think American Pie and Days would probably be more targeting the similar demographic, and we prefer, as great as American Pie is, and it is great, but we still prefer Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
American Pie was like also for us.
Totally. I think Superbad
30,
kind of was.
30.
That's
That was a little after us.
It was definitely after us. But
Yeah.
yeah. Little different tone. American Pie was for us.
Yes.
Lock, stock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Days was
For us.
for sure. Yeah. So that could have been it. All right. The next level is coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.